Hello and welcome to another session of Google.rs. It's Byron speaking. And yesterday was one of these days where nothing really wanted to work. And you know, sometimes your tool chain breaks down, you just ask yourself, damn it, why, how could I can't work that way. And then, you manage to push out 3 episodes, which kind of equals at most 3 hours of actual work. Except for the behind the scenes work required to get these done. But still, not much. And it's an entire day still. Anyway, I think today will be much more productive because lots of stuff is gonna happen. I have time till 6 and I'm gonna use it. So first of all, there has been an answer to my question, and the fix to my borrowchk issue is actually super simple. And I ask myself, damn it, why didn't I try this? So it's really about names, right? So if you want to assign something that you also use in a mutable fashion, you would usually have to move that borrow to some other variable and then kind of swap variables around like that. So this is something we're going to implement, because right now I have this recursive descent kind of thing going on, which is wasteful and something I don't want. So let's try to convert this into just a loop, right? So for field in fields, and here we go till fields lang -1. Because the last field is always the field we want to assign to, and there we don't want, wait. Yeah, no. It's okay. We want to dive down until we have the object that can contain the actual last field. So this is basically the dive down code. And if there's just one field, obviously we will not dive down anywhere, but that's also kind of covered and okay. So here we go. For each field, then I think what you want to do is, can we assign this object? I think we can. And that's also something that I kind of recently learned, that you can say, well, I want to reassign this binding, so you make it mut on this side. Yeah. And this is really interesting. Previously, I would kind of make a local assignment here, but that's not needed. So in theory, we can now say, well, I want to assign back to object. But what I do here is I match on a temporary value that contains the object binding. So this basically moves the borrow to temp, then we use it, and then we move it back. And that's the point here. So here we can now do field to owned. All right. Then we take the object back. This is not required anymore. And am I missing something? I could just, yeah, okay, let's be verbose here. Fine, now that I have this verbose code, otherwise unreachable would just do fine. And what else? Looks so short, huh? Probably because that's all you need. And then you set up the object and you go ahead using it. But that would just be done here like this, voila. And then whatever we get as an object is something where we want to assign the value to. Like this, pretty much. So let's see if that compiles. Voila. Does it compile? It could. Because nothing here changed, this should still be the same thing. What have we implemented here? Okay, so far we have implemented the pod assignment, that's fine. Oops. Fields. True, that is not existing anymore, that's self0. That's our fields. And now we should be a bit better. Did you mean self? Recursive descent? Where's recursive descent? Oh. There's no recursive descent anymore. Not in the code I see. Okay, now it seems to compile. That's good. And that's it. So that's much more efficient. That's much closer to, I mean, that is what we actually want to do here. Previously, we had a recursive function call and lots of slicing going on and lots of checks. All that shouldn't be required, and it is not required. Thank you. For a moment, I was thinking, damn it, Rust doesn't allow me to do even the most fundamental things. But it actually does. You just have to work around a tiny, tiny bit, and even that probably isn't a big deal. You know, usually I would say, yeah, I can assign and use, because that's technically different operations. I mean, different times. This runs first, and then the assignment comes next. But for the static borrow checker, that doesn't make a difference. So yeah, this is kind of a valid workaround. I just try to remind myself of that, so that next time I will figure it out. Okay, so all the value conversions we have here already. So we can generate a JSON variant that we can then stuff into the respective entry. And the next thing shall be a vector, which is as easy as or insert. So what's in here is a vector of things. The thing in there is a JSON value. So we go with default. And then we get this thing back. Oh. No, actually, that's okay. We don't expect any return value here, so we can just take it and push the value right back on. And that's the vector case. That's how that works. And as you can see, this code for the JSON value is always the same. So we can actually take this out, you know, then move it in there respectively. So that's just helping us to be a bit less redundant in our code here, which in turn is a nice thing to have. JVal. Oh. Wait. The value is something we bind to right now. Yeah, that only works for these two cases, because down here we have another value. Okay, so forget it. Under these circumstances, I will be happily putting that back. And also provided with the value. Yeah. Because we have to specify it in particular. I knew that apparently because I wanted to remind myself that this is the case here, that we might have to parse our value again to get another key value pair out of there. But I totally forgot. So I bound my original value, which could be a key value pair, here and generate my value from that, which would be wrong. Yeah, so that doesn't work. I have to provide a read-only version of my JSON value. And considering that, I don't bind anything anymore, do I? No. So this means we can take this and convert it back into a function. It's called toJval. So fn toJval, which takes a value as first argument, and then we go ahead with that, and that's just it, except for this thing that we don't need anymore. And also we can move it one to the left, and we can move it out of there because now it's not dependent on this anymore. We can just put it here, or yeah, let's put it as close to the place where it's used as possible. JType we get, value we get. And the fields, oh look, the field we do not get. Oh man, where's the, oh yeah, the field. Oh, the field I set here. See, so the field I also don't get, so I probably want to put this back. Damn it. Ah, damn it. Yeah, anyway. So let's undo this. Yeah, so since we actually do bind the field, you know, you have to do it that way. Just to, you know, it's just a matter of saving this additional object that we want to pass along. So anyway, now we pass along the value as well, and have to adjust our call here, because here it's value. And here it's value. And here it will be value again. Let jval be to jval value type info jtype and the There we go. So that should compile. And then we basically have 2 of the 3 cases covered and just need the last one, which sets a yeah. Okay, value does not have any, oh damn it. True, we get a value back here. So we have to unpack it again in order to change it. Yeah, well, I could do that. I'm thinking if there is another way, but no, not with that interface, no. So we have to match on this. It's a mutable something. Pardon. That's a mutable something, and we go in and say, okay, it's going to be a value with, wait, how's that called? How's that called again? Yeah, actually, thanks to the default, I totally lose my understanding of the type that is actually behind that. But it's an array, and then there's vector of values. Okay. So ref mut values, and then we can just push something onto the values here, which shall be to jval. So this push just goes away. All right. Bada boom. There we go. And this case should be unreachable because we've just, wait a moment. Actually, that's not the case. We've just set it up, but the even type inference wouldn't know what we want here because there are many different variants. Because this is, we're trying to push a JSON variant here, and there is no default for that. So first, let's put that to unreachable. And here we have to be explicit, actually. So we must say value array, and now default will be just fine because that's then an array of JSON values. So are these brackets all closed? Yes, they are. Is this okay? Yes, it looks like it. So I guess I can put this down here to make it more readable. Yes, that's very nice. And the rest should be fine. So that's the type, that's how we add a vector to that data, we push onto that vector in that particular data structure. And that should compile now. Let's try. And then we will do the hash map thing. And there's still a major flaw in here, the one that I see actually, which is the names of these fields. Because the names of these fields, if we look at this, so the names of these fields are based on the command line names, which are kind of prettified to match the command line style. But this has to be converted into field by field, by the way, into the respective name for the API. And this might differ quite a lot. I mean, it only doesn't not only it will might differ, it will differ. So if you look at YouTube main, for instance, there's videos insert. You will see that if I regenerate it, make YouTube 3 CLI, you will see that it will be far more complicated here. And now that's the keys you get, and these do not correspond anymore to an actual field. And right now, I just use this in my temp cursor. So I have to convert my temp cursor to the actual field names that are used in the structures that we effectively want to set. So it's still not working. Failed to resolve. Use of undeclared type or module. Oh, yeah. Yeah, for a moment I was tricked. So it's JSON value, and it's JSON value, value. You know what? I'm sick of this. Let's use it. So here we use JSON somewhere. Use cert JSON value. What about that? And now we can look for all these, actually for all these invocations. Yeah. And replace them with nothing. And here we have to fix it again. Cert JSON value. There we go. So this will help me to keep my code a bit more concise and easier to read, less noisy. Oops, and that's a good thing. So let's see how that works. Could have a chance to compile, nearly there, mismatch types. So we have an optional string here. Oh, really? That's interesting. Why is, because, yeah, down here, it is an optional string indeed. So it's unwrap or actually, I don't know the type of the JSON value yet. What's the type going to be? Oh yeah, that's depending on this thing here. Well, parse KWArg. It's not. No, it just parses. Just takes a string, huh? Yeah. Okay, so that doesn't contain any type. So this. Where's the toArg thingy here? Arg from string, here it is. All right, so here the respective type conversion happens. So we do unwrap or empty. And I think this thing can deal with empty or with failed attempts to unwrap something. It will then just push the respective error onto our stack here, but generate a default value that we can use for now. This is how the system works. You know, it kind of falls back to default values, but we'll add errors as they happen because in dry run mode, basically we go as far as setting everything up as far as we can, but we just don't make the final call. That's how that works. Okay, good. So here we are. I think that would compile now because we definitely get what we want to get. Let's not trust myself though. Let's try. But in the meanwhile, we can have a look at what we want to do here with setting up the mapping. So I think it's pretty similar to this. We get a mapping, but this time it's an object that we initialize with default, which will be a hash map or a B tree mapping from strings to JSON values. And then we go ahead and say, well, we want to match this. And it's going to be an object, right? That's what we put in there. So it's an object, ref mapping, or let's call it map. Let me say map insert. And I'm not interested. Oh wait, let's see what insert does because I want to overwrite this. I mean, the user could technically specify multiple values or specify the same value multiple times. That's possible. And then I would expect the last value to win. On the other hand, if you just do an insert here, I think it will only be inserted if it's not yet there. If it is there, you will get the value that was there instead. So we could actually check for this and say, well, you know what? You just specified once, otherwise it's an error. And this is what we do. We will check, we will match on this. And yeah, I think we do it like that. We just if it. Yeah, I guess I will also give me a little bit more space. So we want to insert into this map, and the key to string, or do I use to owned here? What do I do? To owned, I do. To owned. So this is what we want to insert, but it will be, let's verify this. Entry insert. Insert a key value pair into the map. If the key already had a value present in the map, the value is returned, otherwise none. So that's the guy here. And we just want to say, well, if this is sum, then this is a duplicate value. And we shall argue about that. Yeah, let's see if we have an error already. If this is sum, there we go. There we go. Yeah, just trying to match the pairs here just to be sure. So if this is sum, then we have to push some error, issues push, and I wonder which one that could be. Let's see. We have enum CLI error. This is what we want to put on there. So there's a parse error. What does parse error say? Parse, where is parse error? Here. Failed to parse argument. Okay, that's not the case. Invalid upload protocol field. That's just nested, guys. Field. Maybe it is a field error. What's a field error anyway? Fields. Let's see. Field error. Pop on empty. Okay, that's trailing field sap unknown. Duplicate field. I think this is what we throw. Cannot move. Yeah, that's cursor related stuff. So I guess this is what we add here. Duplicate fields. And then I could provide the entire cursor that we have so far. Thinking about it, I was, the remapping, I was thinking that I might remap the entire cursor and then, which would be easy because then I could use the exact same function as is without any change. But if I then start to use these fields to tell the user about issues, then I need the unremapped ones. And this is information I wouldn't have here. And yeah. So I can just say, well, I don't provide that information, then I don't tell about the actual key that is duplicate, which is annoying probably, because if you tell the user that something is wrong, you should always tell what exactly is wrong so that the user has a chance to fix it. Well. So this means I have to pass the unmapped value along with it. Yeah, for now I can use self though. The cool thing is previously I didn't handle duplicates at all, which probably is a bad thing, or let's say it is an oversight that is now being corrected. That's a good thing again. So duplicate, then I get a field cursor. I'll just clone myself in there for now. CLI error, field. Then we have a field error, duplicate. And I just want to have a look at other code to see if I do it right. Yes, I do it right. Here we go. So that's really? So much word wrap happened here? This is why it looked so funny, I see. Yeah, turn it off. So, duplicate, self, clone. That's the first one. Then the previous value. Yeah, let's get the previous value. So this is gonna be a... actually we discard it. And if I wanted to have this value, then I would have to unpack a JSON value, because this map maps from strings to JSON values. And there's something that I wouldn't want to do unless there is a function that does it for me. Like display. So what's implemented here? Serialize is implemented, clone, okay, no. Is there something as string? If the value is a string, no. So that isn't a conversion like display would provide. So no, there is no built-in function that would allow me to do that. So that's it. We only provide the field cursor itself, and then we say, well, this guy is duplicate. This also means that on this side we are done and handle our errors accordingly. We still push it on because it doesn't matter. This value is now ignored. You know, the second value didn't arrive. And each time you have a duplicate, it just tells you, well, this cursor is duplicate, this cursor is duplicate, which is kind of annoying. And we have to be careful here because that will be the wrong cursor once we have a remapping in place, unless we implement it differently. I don't know how to implement it yet anyway, but somehow it needs to be implemented. Yeah. Okay, so now we have to check our display for field error and say field error duplicate. Oh. That is a ref to a cursor. And I think these cursors can display themselves. Can they? They can. They should see toString. Okay. So I just use toString then. And I think if it has toString, it can also display itself automatically because that's generically implemented for me. So I say write line F, and then we go with the cursor. What do you want to say? Value at was already set. That's like it. Okay, I will put myself onto a new line here, similar to this. So now I think it looks more unified and better. Awesome. I think that's going to be it. That should possibly build and would make, in theory, at least the value setting feature complete, even though we still have to do the remapping. So I won't even run that because I expect this to fail ungracefully. Mismatch types, value, map insert. I thought, where do I do the unwrap or then? Oh wait, I do it on the wrong spot, huh? Here we have a value. No, wait. To jval. Oh, see, I copied nonsense there because we have the jval already. So here we put the jval, and that should already look better. And then, oh, co-display is not implemented for cursor, so we might have to do a toString explicitly. That's also fine. Debug is not implemented. Oh, yeah, debug needs to be implemented for this to work fine. So far, you know what? I think this is why I use strings all the time, because it's easier. So I do the toString there, and then I don't have to implement debug for that guy. And we are good. Ref, yeah. That's fine. So down here where I push it, I now say toString, which is also lighter. It's less, yeah, it's easier because that toString just allocates one string and then we are done. Whereas previously we kind of cloned ourselves, which clones vectors, and then we convert ourselves to a string. And this overall needs more resources than the version we have now. So I think that's pretty decent. And it does compile. Okay. But I'm not feeling happy with that. I will call it a session, and the next session we will make it work right, do the remapping, and do the actual testing. So thanks for watching and have a good day. Oh.